Introduction to Resources. Hello, everyone. I want to tell you about some of the resources in Android Studio in this particular video. So let's get to Android Studio without losing any more time. Now, you know that we've opened a project on Android Studio, and we were going to give some information about our project file within Android Studio. So you can see the resources folder, which is here on the left side of Android Studio. And as it's called, it's a res folder. Now, there are 4 folders within the resources or res folder. These are the drawable, the layout folder, the mipmap folder, and the values folder. Now, first of all, we're going to speak about the drawable folder. Now, this particular folder holds, of course, pictures for our project. And I'll just right-click on the drawable folder and click Show in the Explorer. And I can see this folder in the Explorer. Now, there's an XML file inside it. And I'll put some pictures, icons, and logos in this folder for using within my Android Studio project. And when I need these pictures, I can call it up giving this folder path, right? And then I'll just copy a picture from another folder, paste it in the drawable folder. And after I close this folder, and you can see now that this picture is under the drawable folder in Android Studio. And if I click it, it will open. And then I can use this picture in my project, such as a background image. Now, another folder is the layout folder. And the layout folder holds XML activities files for our Android application. Now, you know that we have one activity now for this project, and its name is main activity. But there is a second part of this activity. So one is the XML file. The other is the Java file. All right. So the layout folder holds the XML file of the main activity. The main activity Java file is in order of, under the app, Java, com.example.myFirstApplication folder. So if we had other activities, their XML files would have been under the layout folder. And then we could work on each activity individually, whichever one we want. Now, another folder is the mipmap folder. The mipmap folder holds pictures and icons like the drawable folder. So I know what you're thinking. If the mipmap folder holds pictures like a drawable folder, then why do we have 2 different folders for the pictures? But the mipmap folder is not the same as the drawable folder. So I'll open up the mipmap folder on Explorer, and then you can see here that there are 6 different mipmap folders. They are mipmap HDPI, MHDPI, XHDPI, XXHDPI, and, well, etc. You can read them yourself. So why are there 6 different mipmap folders? So if you look at it carefully, you will see that there is the same picture in each of the mipmap folders. Now, if you recall, we spoke about Android applications. And before you can develop Android applications, you have to determine screen sizes because you can develop Android applications for different screen sizes. In fact, you can develop Android applications for small screens, big screens, tablets, or Android televisions. So when you are developing these applications, if you use the same pictures for every screen resolution, of course, the pictures won't appear very well in your application. And we don't want that. It's going to look bad. So to solve the problem, Android Studio uses a mipmap folder. And then what you'll do is you will use copies of the same image in different resolutions, and they'll all be stored here. So whichever size of the device that you're going to be running your application, it will use the required photo from the Android Studio mipmap folder. For example, if your application runs on a small screen device, your application will use pictures in the MHDPI folder. Or if your application runs on a big screen device, it will use pictures in the XHDPI. Now, your application will make this decision automatically, but you also need to write some code for this operation to be successful. It doesn't work just by putting the pictures in the folder. I wish. Well, okay, maybe you wish. So we're going to see some examples about how to do this in the next couple of videos. This video is just giving you the general overview about Android Studio and what you can do in Android Studio. So we'll move on to the last folder, which is the Values folder. There are 2 XML files and 1 theme folder here. Now, in previous versions of Android Studio, there was a style.xml file instead of the theme folder. However, in the current versions of Android Studio, the theme folder was created instead of the style.xml file in order to access the dark theme and light theme features more easily. So we're going to examine this in a moment, but for now, I'll click on and open Colors XML first. So you can define colors for your project in this XML file. So you see there are 7 colors in here. Every color has a code. This code is XML code. And you can define colors using XML code. You can find every color XML code way out there in the worldwide internet. So you'll choose a color, put in its code in this file. So after that, you'll need to, name your color. So here the name is purple, teal, black, white. So when I need this color, I will just call it by name. For example, I want to change my main activity background color. I'll go to the main activity XML and I will choose the background in the attributes section where the right side of the Android Studio interface is. Then after that, a window is going to open and I can see the names in the color section in this window. Now also there are other basic colors in here. But of course there are millions of color codes and you won't be able to find every color in Android Studio. So because of this, if you want to use a new color, you can define that color in the colors XML file. All right. So then after that, you can give this color a name. And you can then use this name whenever and wherever you need to. So in other words, you won't need to remember the color code. So we'll write here the code and you can use it everywhere you need. So what I'm going to do is add a new color here. As an example, I'll copy the last line and I'll paste it under. After that, I change the name color red, also change the color code, but we, of course, won't be able to know the code of every color. If we do know the color code, we can write it here. If we don't know the color code, we can find it out there on the internet. Or we could always click on the color box on the left, and that opens a palette where we can choose a color. So we can choose the color that we want from here. I'm just going to choose red for now. So note here, though, that this is the code for the color that I chose. So later when I click anywhere outside of the color palette, I'll be creating my new color, right? All right, so now it's added. That's easy. So I'll go back to the main activity and try to change the background again. And I will see this new color on the list called red. Yay! Now, the other XML file is string XML. Now, you can give it a name. In fact, you can name every string, word, or sentence. So when you need this string or sentence, you can call it by its name. Also, you can add arrays here. And after that, you can call it from the Java file. Also, we will use this file to design our application for multilingual. All right, so that's cool. I'm not going to get into a detailed explanation for now in this video, but you see that there's a lot of things to learn in here. So the last folder is the theme folder. And what do you think? This folder is for themes. There are two different XML files in the theme folder. First is for light mode. Second is for dark mode. And of course, that gets created automatically by Android Studio. If you're familiar with previous versions of Android Studio, there was a style.xml file instead of this theme folder. And the theme was created for light mode only. So right now, why don't we open up both themes? And as you can see, both have the same XML codes, but only the colors are different. So for this reason, it will be enough for us to examine the XML file containing the light theme. Now, if you notice, there are primary and secondary colors here. The primary colors are the colors displayed in the design area. For example, color primary is for the app bar in the design area. The app bar is commonly known as the action bar. The color primary variant is also for the color of the top part of the application interface. Color primary defines the color of the application where we write the name of the application section. So you can see that here is the app name. Now, when you change these colors from the styles XML file, all of the application activities app bar colors will change automatically. Also, you can create a new theme here, and which activity that you want to use, you can just change the theme from the manifest file, and it too will change. Also, we said that with the new version of Android Studio, it becomes easier to switch to the dark theme. Well, why don't we take a look at this now? So let's open up the design area, and when we click on the orientation icon here, we can see the night mode option. And if you select night mode, your design space will turn into this dark mode, and all components in the design area will have this dark theme color scheme applied. And if you click the orientation icon again and select the not night option, the colors in the bright theme will be applied to your design area. See how easy that is, my friends? All right, so that's all you need to know for now. In our next lessons, we will learn all of the issues in detail, and we'll practice all of the solutions, okay? So why don't we just have a short break here, and I want to see you in the next lesson. Cool.